Alright guys, so I'm back. Sorry for the massive delay. Uh, to be honest with you, I'm working on two videos right now that are taking me much longer than I thought they would. I don't want to spoil too much, but one of them has to do with blue lights and blue light filters. Okay, that's pretty much telling the whole video right there. And then the other video has to do with logic probes and integrated circuit gates, both of which actually have quite a bit of information. The logic probes I already knew about the info, but my goodness, that blue light stuff is more complex than I thought it was. So, I apologize. Those two are taking me the longest. One of the two is going to come out around Christmas time. So we'll have an actual Christmas special. Pretty cool, huh? But I figured I'd make a quick little video to at least kind of throw up there. And we're going to do it about coin mechs. And basically how you adjust them and install them in an arcade machine. Now the things you need to understand about coin mechs is that the adjustments are not like what you kind of think they are. I mean, there are mechs out there where you can basically have universal coins. So if you wanted a coin the size of a penny or a dime or a nickel or a quarter, you can make adjustments on that specific mech to hold those types of coins or the dimensions of those coins. The mechs I currently have here, as you can see, I have 5 of them. And these ones are specific mechs that there's only very certain adjustments you can actually make to them. Now, the bottom two here, they're quarter mechs, alright? Now, even though they are meant for a quarter, you can actually get tokens that are almost the same dimensions as a quarter. And by that, I mean the actual diameter of the quarter and the thickness of the quarter. Now, when you get these different types of coins, or tokens, I should say, some of them are going to come with a different major diameter, and some are going to come with a different thickness. So you can actually make adjustments to these mechs so that it'll only accept those tokens, but reject the quarters, okay? So those are the types of adjustments I mean by them being very minimal. These top two mechs here, these are 10-cent mechs. Now, same concept applies with these. You can get tokens that are about the size dimensions of a dime. And you can make those very finite adjustments for the thicknesses and the very minimal differences in the major diameter. I'm talking thousandths of an inch kind of thing here, okay? So, you cannot adjust these 10-cent mechs to accept a quarter. You might be able to adjust them to accept things like pennies and nickels, but that's kind of questionable. I've never been able to do it. There might be people out there who can, and if you know somebody who does, throw it in the comments. I'd love for people to find out how to make those adjustments. Even I'd like to know. The final type of mech, this one, these aren't adjustable, alright? This is basically set up for a quarter. And that's all you're getting out of it. There are going to be certain tokens that'll work just fine with this, but for the most part, you can't make those finite adjustments. So if you get a mech like this, right, and you have a token that's almost the diameter of a quarter and almost the thickness of a quarter, but it's still, say, a little bit smaller, a little bit larger, or thicker, or whatever, you can make those finite adjustments so a quarter gets rejected and a token goes through. This kind of mech, you can't. There is no adjustments. So if you get a quarter mech that's a non-adjustable mech like this one, it's going to accept quarters and any kind of coin that's about this size, regardless. And it's not really a big deal, to be honest. I can't count how many times I've had quarters and tokens and stuff thrown into a game. We're still making money. That's the key thing in an arcade, making that money. So, what I'm going to be talking about primarily are these bottom two mechs here. The 10-cent mechs were just an example, And the same goes with this non-adjustable mech. Now, obviously, I mean mech by mechanism. It's a coin mechanism. Basically, what happens is a coin goes through, okay? And you have your adjusters right here. This is basically kind of like a, it's like a gate. It's the best way to put it. If the coin's able to hit that gate and move the lever down, it's able to pass through and then go through the thickness or the magnet and then come out this side right here, which is where the coin switch is going to be. This mechanism, by the way, is backwards. Technically speaking, when it's sitting in the arcade game, it's going to be kind of like that, because your reject button is going to come in on this side, which is where this arm comes in, and it'll reject, oh, wrong way, it'll reject the coin. Alright? That's how you reject a coin, if it gets stuck. So when you push that button in, you're actually pushing this down right here. Alright? But anyways, if the coin gets rejected, it's going to come out on this side. Whether the top part or the bottom part, it doesn't matter. It'll come back into the coin chute so you can grab your coin back out and then try again. Now, this right here is your magnet. As we open this up, you can see this square here. This is where the coin's going to come down through in order to follow the guide to go out here to hit your coin switch and start your game up. What this adjustment right here is for is the thickness of your coin. Because again, you may have a token that's the same diameter as a quarter, but it could be thicker than a quarter. So you can adjust these settings. It could also be thinner too, by the way, so that it rejects the quarter, or at least gets stuck where they are forced to hit the reject button, okay? But allow your token to pass through. And all that is this screw right here. So as you adjust this screw, what it's doing is it's pushing against the plate back here, so that, like, as you tighten the screw, basically what's happening is this magnet is pulling away from the back of the plate, allowing a thicker coin to come through. And as you loosen it, like so, it makes that thinner. So like if I were to try to put this quarter through right now, it's probably not going to accept it. See? It got stuck. Because the thickness here doesn't match the thickness of the coin. So you're forced to hit the eject button, which of course it got stuck in there. There we go. And it comes out the eject slot. Alright? So what you want to do is you want to tighten this thing up a little bit and increase the thickness for your coin. And now, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. You can go through the whole major part of like measuring your coin and trying to measure the gap or whatnot, or you can just go ahead and just adjust and see what happens. Right there. That went right through. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit more, like so, and then I'm going to try and fine-tune that. Alright? Oh, still going right through, no problem. So that's still good. But again, I want to fine-tune it. Great. That's excellent. We're doing a good job. I'm going to go back the other direction and see how it does. Still doing good. So we'll go back a little bit and just keep going until we find a spot where the coin doesn't want to go through anymore, and we'll backtrack from there. We're still doing great. There we go. So now the coin is stopped. It's kind of hard to see because it's not in this slot right here. It's basically stuck right there. So what you can do from here is just very slowly tighten this screw up until the coin comes out. Right there. Now we have the perfect thickness for our quarter, okay? And we'll make sure. Whoop, it's not quite there yet. We're almost there. I thought we had it. We'll just tighten it up just a little bit. Okay, right through. So we'll try again. Alright, so we have our thickness set up for our coin. It's going through perfectly. Now the next step is going to be on the back side here. As you can see right here, this adjustment actually adjusts the maximum diameter. So that's going to be from this edge to this edge, okay? The reason that's important is because you may have some tokens that may be the same thickness as a quarter, but they're not going to be the same major diameter of your quarter. And you need to make finite adjustments to make sure that the coin that you're using or accepting will actually pass through that barrier there. And it's the same idea. You're basically just going to loosen the screw here, and you can adjust this tab. Now let's say I put that tab all the way over there, right? So that would represent a coin that's as thick as a quarter, but nowhere near as big in diameter. So let's say I drop that quarter down now. It gets rejected. See? It's just constantly rejected. So, what we need to do is put it back where it was. Thankfully, this thing is dirty and all rusty, so you can kind of see where it's supposed to go. Just loosen that bad boy up, bring it on back to the spot it's supposed to be, and tighten her down. But if you didn't have that, like I do, you can just go ahead and slowly go from each incremental mark right here until you get it where your coin goes through the acceptance slot. See? Like so. That's how simple that is. Alright? Other than that, that's for the most part all that's really adjustable on this. These little parts here, I wouldn't worry about adjusting because you're adjusting the rejection size. And to me, you want to keep your rejection size to be kinda larger than the coins that you accept. So, no matter what they throw down there, it rejects. Because let's say we took our nickel, right? We got a nickel, drop it down, gets rejected, right? Then we got a dime, drop it down, it gets rejected. And then our penny, drop it down, it gets rejected. So there we go. That's how you make your basic adjustments. Alright guys, so we're back inside now. And we're going to go ahead and install these mechs into the coin slot. So, there are a few different types of coin mounting systems. Some of them are just like this, where it's a basic screw, like you can see right here, or right down here, like there's a screw hole. You can put a screw in. That mounts directly into these threaded holes that you see right here on the mech. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the screws to go with this, so I'm just going to have to make do with just placing them in. Some of these holders have this little slide down piece that will basically be right here, and it'll have a little set screw, and you can slide this little piece of metal down that locks the mechanism in place, and you tighten the screw up. Alright, those are the two main types you're going to find. As you can see right here, this little white tab, this is part of the eject button. You can see as I push it, and that's what pushes down the tab right here to eject your coin. Okay, I apologize for the lighting, I'm using a headlamp, so. But basically, all you have to do is you got to try and finagle this bad boy in so that it lines up with these screw holes. The reject tab lines up the reject button here, and then you test it from there. So essentially, takes a little bit of doing. It depends on if you got some bent stuff. Like this one's kind of bent up, so it's a little bit more of a pain in the butt to get it in. But it's not too horrible. It's just gotta be patient, get it lined up just right, and you can kind of get this bad boy in there. Let's see if I can. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Okay, as you can see, if I push the eject button, you can see that moving down, so you can eject your coin. Now from here, besides lining up your holes and actually getting it screwed into place, which I need to find some screws, and I'm going to do that, you put your coin in, and we want to make sure it comes out of here. Make sure it's lined. Okay, yep. And there we go. It comes right out, no problem. So this one's set, for the most part. Again, without the screws, it's set. Now we can try and finagle this one in. I don't think it's going to work. Oh, look at that. First try on that one. The same thing. Ejects work just fine. We'll test the coin on it. Uh-oh. Didn't go through that time. Let's see where it is. Okay, it went down to the eject slot at least. Let's try that again. Oh, it doesn't look like this mech wants to work right. Where'd it go? Oh, it got stuck. Ah, I see now. There we go. So again, this one's going to definitely need some screws in order to make it work properly. But for the most part, it should work just fine. There we go. It actually went down that time. We got to get it lined up just right and get the screws put in here. So that's another big reason for these screws, is to keep everything in line. And again, like I said, I apologize. I don't have the screws available right now. I'm going to have to get some. This is more like a basic demo. So that's how you're going to go and install these types of mechs. Again, what you're going to want to do when you get the screws is just line up the threaded hole on the mechanism to the drilled out hole in the actual mech assembly and put your screw in. And that's going to line everything up so the coin should be able to go right through, no problems. I'm going to leave these like they are for now until I get myself the screws. I probably just need to harvest them from an old game coin door or something like that, but this is the basics of how you adjust and install a coin mech into your coin door. Alright, and if you got any questions though, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to you guys checking out the new ones coming out here soon for Christmas. And we'll take it from there, guys. So take care, and we'll see you around. Alright, bye-bye now.